Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Cloud to Ground, sponsored by Spanning. If you're a Google Apps user and you need backup, and trust me, we've heard lots of stories, you do need backup, please visit our website at spanning.com. I'm your host, Andrea Bridges-Smith, and today we are moving beyond audio and taking this podcast to video for our first ever vodcast from our new studio in our new office. It probably doesn't look very impressive right now, but later on we'll post a walkthrough video so you can kind of see what our new office looks like. We're pretty excited about it. So today with me, through the power of science and technology and Google Hangouts from thousands of miles away, I have Mr. David Politis, founder and CEO of Better Cloud. Welcome, David, and thanks for being on the show.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Sure. So first of all, can you explain a little bit about what you guys do over at Better Cloud?
Sure. So our flagship product is called FlashPanel, and FlashPanel is a management security reporting tool for IT administrators whose domains are on Google Apps. So companies that are on Google that need more visibility and control over their domain, they're managing users, managing groups, drive visibility, they're using FlashPanel on a daily basis to do that. So we do everything from onboarding new employees through a workflow for provisioning users to a deprovisioning workflow, scheduling email signature policies, password policies, drive compliance. So all of that is what we're doing inside of our flagship product, FlashPanel. And we also have a site called Google Guru, which is a video tips and tutorial site that actually we've worked with you on. So thank you very much for helping with that. And that site is very helpful for Google Apps admins and end users alike.
Okay, great. And just so you know, I love the Google Guru site. And for anybody watching or listening, that's Gooru. So please visit it, Google Guru, Gooru.com. It's a great site for Google tips. I find out about all kinds of neat things that I didn't know I could do before. So that site's been really helpful, and I hear nothing but rave reviews about FlashPanel. I'm not a Google Apps admin. I'm just a lowly, humble marketing servant, so I don't get into the heavy lifting on the admin side. But from everyone that I've heard that uses it, they absolutely love it.
Thank you.
So what is the best trick that you've learned about Google from your own Guru site?
That's a good question. I would say probably the Chrome profiles is, for me, the most useful trick that I've found from Google Guru, which is, if you have a Gmail account, a personal Gmail account, and also your work Google Apps account, and being able to switch between those two Chrome profiles very quickly by setting that up inside of Chrome. So Chrome profiles is probably the best trick I've learned from the Guru site.
Yeah, that's a really good one. I really like the ones that you have that have to deal with organizing your inbox because, as anyone here will tell you, I'm very anal about organizing my inbox, and I like to have things color coded and in folders. And I'm not one of those people that has 1,000 things in their inbox. I usually have about 10. So
yeah,
I'm also very fun at parties. As you might imagine. So,
yeah.
So you guys, you make software that runs in the cloud. You give tips on how to use Google Apps in the cloud. So I'm going to go ahead and call you an official cloud expert.
I hope so.
So what was it about the cloud that made you decide to build your entire business around it?
So that's a good question. I think, first of all, my whole career I've been in cloud businesses. So my first company was a cloud PBX provider, providing small businesses with phone systems in the cloud without the CapEx expenditure to buy a phone system, put it in the closet, wire it all over the place. And we were one of the first companies to build a cloud-based PBX. And even though the technology was challenging at the time, and running voice over the public internet can be a challenge, or at least it was, the customer reaction to having the scalability and the flexibility and the cost savings of having this cloud-based telephony system made me realize that this is definitely the way of the future. And I think when I saw that, you realize that there was no longer going to be, people weren't going to be saying this on-premise system versus this cloud-based system. I think at some point it's just going to be this messaging system, and the assumption is it's built in the cloud. So that was really, my career started there. And in terms of the Google Cloud specifically, I think that when you look at what Google is doing, what they've been doing in the consumer world, what they've been doing in the educational institutions with Google Apps, and I think you can, to me, I believe that they're going to win. And it may not be this year, next year, 5 years, but I believe over time they've set themselves up for long-term success. And because they're natively built in the cloud, because that's in their DNA, I think they are the best company to bet on for the future, and that's what we've done with Better Cloud is bet that Google Apps is going to continue to scale, and that enterprises will continue to adopt the product in huge numbers. And as they do, we want to be there to help them with that process and to ensure that they do it as effectively and efficiently and as securely as possible.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you there. I read a question on a forum this morning. Someone was asking, is there any reason why I shouldn't switch to Office 365? And my response was, well, it's made by Microsoft. And
good answer.
I don't know about you, but since getting off of Excel with its weird pop-up messages for no reason that you can't figure out how to turn off, and the Word documents where I'd be creating an outline and then halfway through the outline, the formatting would completely change for no reason. And you couldn't fix it. That's maddening. That never happens in Google. Google just does what I want it to do. And
I think having access to the data from anywhere, I think for me that's been the biggest change in my in the way that I work, is that I now literally have access from any computer at any time, from my mobile device, from an iPad. It doesn't matter. And I think that's actually changing the way that people work. And when you layer on top of that the collaboration that you have, that's very powerful. And I believe that's just changing the way. One of our customers put it the best way. He said that the reason that they went to Google is a large organization, about 15,000 seats and 15,000 users. And he said the reason that they went to Google Apps was that collaboration drives innovation, and innovation drives business growth. And for me, that was a very good, succinct way of explaining why Google and Drive and Docs and Hangouts and Google Plus and all of that is going to change the way that businesses work, and actually ultimately I believe will improve the day-to-day and the overall business for companies that make that move. So anyway, I thought that was a very good way of putting it and a good way of explaining it.
yeah, absolutely. I can tell you from our experience, we've started adding a Google Hangout to all of our meetings. So in case someone can't be there in person, they can automatically sign in virtually and still attend the meeting. We've been able to pretty much go paperless at the office here, which is so much better. And the collaboration capabilities, a lot of times we'll be in a meeting and we'll all have the same document open and we can all kind of make notes on it like as we're working on it. But I mean, of course we don't have to be in the same room to do that. So it's really changed things for us here. How are you guys using those capabilities?
I think it's very, very similar ways. We have partners all over the world, and so I haven't been able, I wish I could, but I haven't been able to travel to visit them in South America and in Malaysia and all over, and so we do all of our meetings through Hangouts, and so we're meeting these partners virtually, but we're still face to face, and we can share documents, we can share presentations while we're in the middle of the Hangout, and I think that's been extremely helpful, and it's changed the type of relationships that we have with these partners. So we use that quite a bit, and then, like you said, just while we're doing meetings with customers, we'll create a Google document, share it out with the customer and also with the project managers internally, and everyone can collaborate on that and stay up to speed on what we're working on.
Yeah, it really does make a huge difference in the way that people work together. So one of the things I wanted to ask you about is I've been hearing a lot lately. Obviously you and I are both cloud fans. We're we're dealing with the cloud all day. We're big fans. We like it. But it seems like there's a bunch of people out there who either are just flat out confused about the cloud or they hate it. Not even whatever it is that they know about it. I don't know what it is, but they hate the idea of it. What do you think is the big barrier for people getting into the cloud right now?
I think that there are probably three main barriers. I think the first barrier is job security. I think that when it really comes down to it, this is there are people out there who've their jobs, they've dedicated their entire careers really to becoming experts at some of these systems. They've gone out and they've gotten Microsoft certified and Cisco certified and this and that. And I think that when you look at that, that's something that's very challenging to overcome, because this is actually people's jobs. This is what these are their careers. And I think there is a concern that if they make the switch to these cloud-based applications, that they're going to lose the control that they have today. And I don't agree with that. I think there's other obstacles that they're going to need to overcome for their companies in a cloud-based environment. But I think that there is that perception from some IT administrators and IT leaders. So I think job security, I would say, is one, and that's just human nature. I believe is just to protect what is yours, and so that's a challenge, and that's just going to take time. That's a generational challenge. I think that's going to just take time for new leadership to come into place, and for existing people to realize that they have an opportunity in the cloud as well. The second is inertia. I think just generally enterprise technology has been running on premise for 20, 30, 40, since the beginning of time. So this is just inertia, and I think momentum is in the direction of the cloud, and I think we have good momentum, and I think it's moving in the right direction. But there's just a lot of inertia that has to be overcome, many, many years, decades of that. And so there's investments that have been made, there's huge infrastructure costs that have been laid out in the last however many years, and all of that has to be ripped out, and that can be challenging. Right. I think lastly, and this is where we're helping both of our companies, is these ecosystems are still very nascent. So the ecosystems and the marketplaces around cloud applications are relatively nascent. Not, they are growing quickly, they're maturing, but they are less sophisticated and less, they don't have the same scale that you'll see in some of the more traditional marketplaces and ecosystems around Cisco and around Microsoft and the like. So I think that's something that is happening. Obviously, we're part of that. Our partners are part of that, our resellers, and that's going to continue to scale. You see that in the Google Apps Marketplace. You see that with the Salesforce App Exchange. So that is happening, but I think that those ecosystems need to be mature to really enable the large enterprises to make that switch and feel comfortable with that.
Okay, those are very good points. I don't think people bring up the job security point a lot, but that's a very interesting thing to think about. Especially in technology, where you think that the nature of the beast is to expect change constantly. So it seems kind of out of character to be kind of holding on to what you've learned in the past as far as technology goes. But you're right, that is human nature for people to kind of go with what they know. Mm-hmm.
And I think it's the same as the reason I believe Google's going to win long term is if you look at it and say, again, this generational shift is occurring. There are these people who are growing up with Google. There are people who have Google in their elementary schools and they're using it in their classrooms, and then they have it for their personal Gmail account. Then they get it when they go to high school. They get it in their colleges, and then they get to work. And what are they going to want to use? They're going to want to use Google. They're going to want to use Gmail and Drive and Chromebooks and Chrome and Android. So I think that generational shift is occurring. But again, that just takes years. That just takes time.
Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of the Apple strategy.
Yes.
So, looking a little bit into the future, what do you think people are going to start wanting from the cloud next?
That that's a good question. I think the two things is consolidation and integration, and I think that kind of goes hand in hand with each other. But I think the idea that, and this is when we talk about the challenges and for these IT administrators who are moving their companies to the cloud, I think that is the challenge actually, is consolidating, integrating across cloud applications. So in our organization, we're probably using, at last count, maybe 20 different cloud applications. And so they're right now they're pretty separate from each other. And so starting to pull in the Salesforce.com information into Zendesk and pulling that information into Google Apps and connecting these various cloud applications that organizations are using, I think that's a very big that's going to be a huge need, and I think that's what people are looking for. Is, even when we've talked to our customers and said, what are you looking for, the answer always is everything in one location, one product that I can go to, that I can really use to administer all my cloud applications. So I think we've heard that over and over again. I think that's where things are going, and also as the market becomes more mature, I think there's going to be some consolidation in the market, in the ecosystems, because I think that there will be some bigger, more powerful players, and that'll push these ecosystems and these markets forward. So I think those are the two things that are going to occur, and I think that's what people are looking for is this consolidation, integration, one vendor or a couple of vendors, but not hundreds of vendors. I think that's what I want personally. So I think that's what a lot of our customers are looking for as well.
Yeah, I think you're spot on there. I noticed that a lot of the new applications that are coming out are, you take like Hootsuite, for example. It manages all of your social media accounts in one place. And with all of the different plugins for Chrome, consolidating those and being able to manage them from one location, I completely agree with you. I think that's going to be the next big thing is, you'll be adding on more apps, but it'll be one app that can do something with 5 other different apps and bring it under one
Exactly.
umbrella.
Exactly.
And so my last question for you is, what can we as cloud enthusiasts and cloud companies do to kind of help people?
So I think what we can do is, and this is maybe a little bit of a different answer than you would expect to get, but I think it comes down to customer support. In my opinion, I think that's an area that many cloud companies, mostly because we're startups, we're smaller, we are growing, but generally smaller organizations, I think that customer support is sometimes overlooked, and I think that's an area where, if we share best practices, if we actually spend the time engaging with our customers, be more prescriptive. So for some people, this is a big change for them. So I think being prescriptive, explaining to people when should you back up, who should you back up, why should you back up, but being very prescriptive, as an example in Spanning's case, I think that's what I think that will make the entire experience better. I think that will help people in this move to the cloud, and I think them being able to rely on customer support organizations to respond and to be reactive and to be engaging and to be knowledgeable, not just about their one application, but about the cloud in general. I mean, that's where we spend a lot of our energy when we're training people, is not just training them on Better Cloud and not just training them on Google Apps, but training them on the entire ecosystem so that they can actually add value to these customers' day-to-day jobs and help them with this big move that they're making to the cloud. So I think that is, in my opinion, what we can do as early kind of trailblazers in this space. I think that's what we can do to make sure that experience is excellent and the customer experience is excellent, and therefore keep customers excited about continuing their move to the cloud.
Yeah, I think maybe kind of giving them a game plan and saying, it's all going to be okay. Here's how you go about this. Here's all the steps, and here's the things that you need to think about, kind of arming them with that information going in, I think would be really helpful.
Exactly. Exactly.
All right, well, good stuff. David, thank you so much for appearing on our podcast today. It has been a pleasure to talk with you, as always. And folks, if you need any help managing your Google Apps, please check out Flash Panel. It's a great product. Everybody loves it. You can check it out at flashpanel.com, or you can check out bettercloud.com for more information on Flash Panel. And also, please be sure to check out the Google Guru site. I wait anxiously every day for their email in my inbox so that I can find out what new tip I'm going to learn today. You can subscribe to their newsletter, which I highly recommend doing. You'll get a daily email with a new tip every day, or an interesting article. It's always great content. And you can visit them at googleguru, GOORU.com. And thank you to all of our listeners who are now our viewers for listening and watching. And again, if you need backup for Google Apps, and trust me, you do, we hear a lot of horror stories around here about people that don't have it, and it's something you should really have. Please visit us at spanning.com to get a 14-day free trial of Spanning Backup. No obligation, just try it out, see if it's right for you. It is the highest rated backup solution on the Google Apps Marketplace, so just think about that. My name is Andrea Bridges Smith, and we'll see you next time. Thanks very much.
Thank you.